All right, as you can see, I have a Ruger 5.7 on the table today. I've had this for a couple months now. Just haven't really said anything about it, but it's definitely a real joy to shoot. Just kind of want to go over a couple basic specs. Obviously this gun's been out, so I don't want to touch too much time on that. But kind of go over the general feeling of it and just kind of talk about some of the things I like about it and some of the things I don't. So I'll go real quick over quick specs. Obviously, the magazine has 20 rounds capacity. It does come with a second magazine as well, so you do get two. This is chambered, obviously, in 5.7, so I got one here, pretty handy. This little guy, if you're not familiar with him, it's basically a 22 caliber, goes pretty fast. Not super powerful out of a handgun, but still really fun to shoot. I think it'd be really good on varmints and stuff like that, and obviously for self-defense as well. But carrying on, the barrel length is 4.94 inches long. The overall length is 8.65. The barrel is made out of an alloy steel that is black nitrided, as you can see. Very nice, smooth finish. The front sight is a fiber optic. As you can note, really gathers the light there. And the black sight is adjustable for windage and elevation, here as you can see, with a serrated blackout rear sight. A couple other things. The slide finish is just kind of a black oxide. Nothing, it's kind of Ruger's generic black finish, but again, it seems to be holding up pretty decent so far. Obviously, the frame is also polymer, which lends to the next part is that it only weighs about 24.5 ounces. So overall, pretty light. It's a pretty decent sized gun. I mean, you definitely get a full grip on it. It's very comfy. I like the texturing on it too. But I kind of got sidetracked there. A couple other little statistics are the slide width is 1.2 inches and the height is 5.6. So that's the last for the specifications. But I'll just kind of go into some of the basic features. It has some really cool slide serrations here. As you can see, they're really grippy. You can get a good hold on them. They're both front and rear. Has a nice cutout here on the front for a lightning cut. But if you take this off, there's a lot of empty spaces inside of this because this is a steel slide. So, which is really cool. In terms of 5.7s, that's the FN. It is steel underneath, but they made it really light and made that polymer shell to cover it up and kind of give it more of a gun feeling. But it's got a really nice long accessory rail here. It's got a nice trigger guard area that's really open. You can see it is unloaded. The trigger on it is really nice. It's light. I've heard some people kind of either love it or hate it, but it's got a little bit of a decent, not too bad of a take up. And it's a light trigger pull too, so I really like it. I got no complaints about that. This model is obviously got a safety, manual safety, very 1911 like, which it is ambi as well, as you can see, so for your lefties. But some people kind of dislike it, but I really don't mind it in terms of this being a full-size gun. It doesn't really get in the way for me. Hypothetically, it's not really that big of a deal. It does have a nice slide release here that you can get to pretty easy. Obviously that was a little hard here. So it's got a little extra, push to it, but I also have an empty magazine as well. So the mag release, that's one thing I really don't care for that much, is it's really smooth. The size is good and the placement's pretty decent. You kind of got to break your grip a little bit though, because it's such a wide magazine to compensate for the 5.7 round. But I kind of wish there's a little bit of a texturing on it. because in terms of hitting it, it just kind of feels slippery. Maybe there'll be an aftermarket version out in the future, but in terms of what I think of it, it's just a little slippery is all. But other than that, it's got kind of a little bit of a wonky takedown with a pin. Obviously, it's kind of made to look like you can put around there to push it out and take it apart. It's not terribly easy to take apart. I mean, it's not that hard, but I'll do that in another video. But it's not like overly user-friendly, but it is what it is. In terms of that, other features of it, it's got a really nice grip texture. All these little panels here. It's very kind of skateboardy tape. I like the feel. It's very smooth, but it has, you know, a decent amount of roughness. I got a slight little undercut here underneath the trigger guard to help you get your hand up on it. In terms of how it sits in your hand, very comfortably. If you don't know, this is a hammer-fired gun. You can see the hammer is cocked back there, and there it goes. That's kind of, you know, something that most 5.7 caliber pistols are in. They're typically hammer-fired, but we'll see. There's other designs coming out every day, or not every day, but once in a while here. More people are getting on the 5.7 bandwagon. There is an option to mount a plate on here for a red dot. It's not really, you know, cut into the slide, but it is an option for those who want it. And other than that, pretty basic. I do like this nice little cut here up at the front. A nice little scallop in there. But other than that, pretty much just a nice, I mean, so far I have used this to dispatch a couple raccoons and stuff like that. Really lends itself well for small game, obviously woodchucks, things like that. But I don't think it'd be wrong to consider it, you know, a decent self-defense pistol either. In terms of carrying, it's a little large, obviously. It's basically the size of a full-size 1911. So that's something you'll have to contend with if that's a decision you're willing to make. Obviously, it'd be kind of cool if they made, you know, a smaller size in the 5.7. I don't know if that would ever happen. Obviously, you'd lose a lot of velocity, which this round desperately needs to get any kind of ballistics and energy out of it. So, other than that, it's really a nice pistol. I would recommend it to anybody in terms of, obviously, like a small game hunting gun. It is fun to shoot. The ammo's not terribly cheap, so that's one other caveat to it. Hopefully, with more and more manufacturers coming out with 5.7 products, that the price will come down. But really, I don't know. I mean, it might even be a decent home defense pistol as well. Very light recoiling. If you ever shot a 5.7, it's very nice to shoot. It's very easy to keep on target. Really kind of makes you a better shooter than you might be otherwise, just because it's obviously a large gun with a lot of length to it, good sight radius, so that way you can really pick off some shots. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely recommend it, especially if you're willing to get into it. Suggested retail price on this is $869. That's obviously MSRP. I paid around $670 for this. So it wasn't, you know, obviously the cheapest, but compared to a full, you know, FN 5.7, which they tend to run in the $1,100 to $1,200 range. At the time of this video, PSA is coming out with their Rock, which is a new 5.7 model. So that might be kind of cool to experience and try that out. It's supposed to be a cheaper price point, but I definitely think Ruger hit the quality for the price pretty dang well. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think, and maybe I'll do a shooting video someday soon of it. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching.